Hey everyone, welcome to the Clips channel. Did you know this isn't our main channel? Yeah, you should subscribe over and find our main videos and our streams as well. We also have a podcast that you can find wherever podcasts can be found, so explore the internet. See you there.
Let's wake Daddy!
Daddy.
No, we do want to wake Daddy.
Yes, I'm awake.
Are you awake, Daddy?
I'm awake. I'm awake.
Now, this is. Get your clips ready, because I'm gonna say Daddy so many times.
I've only been
on
awake
this stream.
for
It's not even
10 hours.
Jesus Christ.
How many days? So shall I begin from the beginning?
Yeah, you want to go back? We're going into full story mode.
Yep.
Even though honestly we've been in story mode.
It's been jumping around a little bit, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I could tell what I saw from my end.
Yeah, you're welcome to.
So hilariously, everybody, and if you've heard this before, I'm sorry, but here it's now labeled, and it can kind of live for everyone to find. If you've heard the story before, I mentioned it the night I streamed without you when we were expecting you to be there, which was the Thursday after it all went down. So we've had a lot going on.
Yes.
We have had a lot going on. We had the Endwalker finale.
That Thursday?
Yes. And actually everyone's been like super cool. And I kept thinking in my head that I was going to have to explain why we haven't done our wrap-up video yet. And like, honestly, no one's asked.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's cool. We'll do it eventually. We haven't even recorded it. Like, we're going to spend so much time making notes that we were like, you know what? Kyle's been gone for 2 weeks. Let's just do a show today. So we had a lot going on. You and I hadn't really had a second to think about anything after Endwalker. So we're after Endwalker's over. We have a meeting. We actually have like a real meeting. I know we don't seem like professionals, but sometimes we actually do try. So Wednesday morning, we probably talked for 2 hours. Looked at a calendar, be like, how you feeling? What do you want to do? Do you want to, wait for patch content? Do you just want to get into it? When do you think the baby's coming? And we get a decent amount of planning done, and you're like, I think we have at least a week, probably have 2, maybe even 3. And I remember you even chuckling.
Yeah.
And then you go, hey, not for nothing, but it's been a while since we talked about this. Are you still good to be on call in case we need you for emergency babysitting to watch our 2 pre-existing children when me and Kristen, go off to deliver our 3rd? I was like, yeah, man, I think we can manage it. I hadn't really thought about it seriously. And basis started coming in. I'm like, oh God, I haven't babysat since I became a big brother. That was the last. I haven't babysat since I was a teenager.
Yeah.
I am profoundly childless. And I'm like, okay, cool. Great. Got 2 weeks. And we're going to Eureka. We're going to have some fun. We're just going to enjoy ourselves. We're just going to play the game. I want to level some stuff up.
Well, that Friday we had recorded with Jesse.
Yep.
And then we had talked with Amanda on Monday.
Yep.
And so Tuesday we did our thank you stream, our massive thank you stream, and read all the comments, went through the footage, all that sort of hangout, did some P.O. box there. And so Wednesday morning, Kristen goes off to the doctor.
Oh, yeah, you had a checkup that morning.
Yeah, they do the checkup. They're like, by chance, my phone just ran out of batteries, so I had to enter the facility, be like, is Kristen Ferguson still in here? I need to find her because my phone is out of batteries, and she might have a second appointment. I have to find her if she goes, blah, 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 blah. So we end up like going all the way, and so I joined the appointment, which wasn't intended, but I'm there in the appointment holding 2 kids. And the doctor comes in and does the by, don't shoot the messenger, eviction notice in 2 weeks, like just for your own health. Like, don't worry about it. But, okay, don't be mad at me. But I legally
required.
Legally, I must say that, and you don't even have to answer the damn phone, but legally I'm required to say these words. All right. You doing good? You doing good? Okay, maybe I'll see you later. Okay. So I come back home. Right. We're going over the notes. I have that meeting with you. Kristen walks in. I'm like, Kristen, if you want to like have a baby at any point, like we're done. We did the things that are on the schedule. Like just at any point, if you're ready to rip it, like just go.
Because that's how it works.
Yeah, if you're feeling it.
I know nothing about being pregnant, but I know for a fact you can just be like, I'm not having this child yet.
Yeah.
I'm not. My husband, who is a YouTube streamer, I need to wait until he's ready.
Endwalker, damn it.
That's how it goes.
I must finish Endwalker. So you and I have another meeting, which is the longer meeting.
Yep.
She comes back in and she's like, oh, I think, well, maybe. I'm not sure. But I'm kind of thinking. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll finish up and do. And I'm mapping out like all the way to Dawn Trail. I'm just like mapping stuff out, getting, what's
like how fast do I have to patch if we actually want to maybe do something
like,
launch week?
I'm minority reporting. I'm sort of putting this in, and I make a nice calendar, and I head downstairs, and she's like 1,000 yards, just like, and I know that face because I've seen it twice before.
It's your third time.
And she's like, should I message my parents? Should you let Garrett know? And I'm just like, I know that face. I know that face. And even that morning, the doctor was like, we have a saying in the medical field, never turn your back on a third pregnancy because it could be delivered like that.
Can I interject for just a moment?
Yes.
I would like to remind the audience that minutes earlier, Kyle to me went, I think we got like at least 2 weeks.
Yes.
All right.
So I text you and I'm like, hey, 70%. I debated it. I'm like 90.
All right. We're going to go back to my view now because my view is a little more amusing.
Okay.
Because I went out to Katie, who I at no point ever mentioned we might babysit. And I was like, oh shit. Kyle asked me like months ago, and I was like, oh, you know what I did? No, that's not true.
You did bring
around
it up.
Christmas.
You brought it up.
I did tell her. I was like, hey, we might be on emergency. So never mind. I hadn't thought about it since right before you moved here. And that means Katie hadn't thought about it either. So I went out to Katie, and I was like, we were like, she came out and she's like, hey, I need your grilled chicken tonight. I was thinking about doing this for dinner. And like, we usually kind of split cooking duties, whatever. We're having a very normal Wednesday night domestic conversation. And it hit me. I was like, oh, hey, like, probably nothing. But Kyle said, tonight might be the night. So I come out of the meeting. I'm like, we got 2 weeks. Minutes later, you text me. You're like, might be going down. Kitty comes in. It's like, I need you grilled chicken. I'm like, cool. We might not be grilling that chicken, but we'll probably be grilling that chicken. I don't think it's a thing. But just in case, I want to let you know, we might be going over to Kyle and Kristen tonight to watch the kids. Like, seconds after I tell her that, I get a text from Kyle that says, it's going down.
It's going down. Yep.
Like Katie
it was going down.
Turned to walk away to like power down her workstation for the day, and I was just like, it's happening.
Yeah. It was happening.
Immediately just start like throwing sodas into a cooler.
So I will say, like, she's playing it cool. She's being like, oh, it's fine. You know what? I'm just feeling a little like, I'm just feeling a little, I'm feeling a little low. And I'm just like, no, we gotta get going. She's like, I'm fine. I'm gonna take care of this. I need to go get this ready. And she's like writing notes and like sticking to the walls. So like when the grandparents come by, like they can walk about the home like it's some sort of
we noticed that when we were there
indie adventure game and like find all the little Slenderman notes
because we were like, these are nice, feels like there should be more of them.
Yeah there's meant to be more.
It was
she's like
wonderful environmental storytelling.
She's filling them out and being like, no, it's okay, and I'm like, we gotta go, it's going on. She's like, no, it's fine. And so I go to like pack a bag, and I'm telling stories today. I come out and she's just stripping. She's like, oh, it's happening. And just like she is just disrobing and like preparing. And so I'm like, well, crap. And she told me what to do in this situation. So I dial 911 and I'm like, hello. And they're like, yes, what's your emergency? I'm like, I believe my wife is giving birth on my floor. And the lady's like, stay calm. And I'm like, I'm fine.
We're sending an ambulance.
And she's like, yes, they're on their way. Where do you live? And lo and behold, I have not memorized my address because I'm decently new to the area, and Kristen handles all.
You've
my
been a little
paperwork.
busy since you got here too, so I'm going to give you a.
Between contractions, I'm like, Kristen, what's her address? And she's like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, what neighborhood is that? It's not showing up on our maps because it's new. And I'm, hang on, Chris, hang on. Okay, and then I get to tell them. So the fire engine shows up and an ambulance is there, and that is when you arrive.
So slide over to Garrett and Katie's point of view. Katie and I arrive in the car. We're like, I threw my backpack in because the day previous was Tuesday. We did the thank you stream over at your place, and I still have my laptop in my camera bag packed. And I was like, I'm gonna bring this because I'll probably get bored. Because who knows how long we'll be there, you know? And I'll have something to watch, which is hilarious now in retrospect.
It was something to watch.
It was a very active evening.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get there and we've got all our crap because we always show up with stuff anywhere.
Good for you.
We like being comfortable.
Yeah.
We like things a certain way, and we don't expect
Don't
other
make it
people.
someone else's problem.
Yeah, we don't want to make it someone else's problem. Exactly. So we carting all our stuff. Around the corner come ambulance and fire truck, and at first, Kitty's just like, we're both like, oh my god, oh shoot, but talk about timing. Someone must have like an air conditioner fire or something going on. What timing? And then we're like, they're stopping in front of Kyle's house. Oh my god. And then it's just this awkwardness of like, do we go in? Are we going to be in the way? And then I realized I'm like, we could probably help. It probably like corral the kids, help open doors. And so we just start to like walk in with like, you know, in the place. And the first fireman or paramedic off, he's like, y'all live here? And we're like, we're here to watch the kids. He's like, good, get that door. Just like, go. And Gurney's going in. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've been around an ambulance, morbidly, since I worked in a retirement home. That was actually somewhat regular.
Yeah, the last time I rode an ambulance would be like
I've never
a
ridden
DARE
in one.
program or something like that.
Never ridden in one.
Where they would show up with the fake house and they would set a fake fire inside and you'd learn about fire safety and have to tuck and roll.
Oh, yeah, I did that. We did that at the
I
local
did that
fire
wrong.
station, but we didn't go in.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Stop, drop. Oh, yeah. Well,
Mine's more
Well,
aerodynamic.
if you're I think you're conflating not asphyxiating on smoke with being currently on fire.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, the crawling part where Iago's up in the ceiling yelling at you to count your parents and let them know.
Yeah. Wait, was there a fire safety with
count them.
with Gilbert Godfrey?
Yeah, Gilbert Godfrey. There's gonna be a lot of smoke. Gonna be a lot of smoke. Fall and crawl and cover your mouth, 'cause smoke can make you choke.
Are you having a deep memory?
Yeah, it played a lot. Gilbert Godfrey was yelling at me, and then he'd tell them, to count them, and then he was a smoke detector, and he was telling you how to count.
While I was up in the Appalachians last month, there's still Smokey the Bear signs everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I haven't thought about Smokey the Bear since like third grade.
He has an important job.
He does.
That's Smokey.
He does. Only you can prevent forest fires. I think they got rid of forest. I think it's just only you can prevent fires.
Yeah, I think in general the fires are the important part of the statement.
They're
don't
like,
have to be forests
they're
anymore.
Like, dear California,
you may be
fires
out of
in general
forests,
are also important.
so please,
yeah,
dumpster fires, any of it.
yeah.
So the paramedics enter.
Yep.
They're very professional.
I still laugh about this. So I come in. Flynn is always excited to see me. It's really uplifting, honestly.
Yep.
Flynn's chilling. He's got the Switch out. I think he's playing Mario Kart.
Mario Kart.
And the parents are going by, and he's just like, "Oh, that's a cool cart." He was like fine with it. He's like, "Oh, this is kind of cool," but he was more interested in me being there and wanting to know if I wanted to play Mario Kart.
He's just like, "Hi, Garrett, want to play my?" Oh, and he's like complimenting the firefighters. He's like, "Nice boots, cool bed. Can I ride in it?
Yeah.
What's this?"
About a minute later, he wanted to get up and get closer and see what it was. I was like, "Hey, buddy, let's talk about Yoshi."
Yeah.
I just wanted to give some room. My favorite thing. I'm still laughing about it to this day. Katie and I laugh about it probably at least once a day since it happened. As you're going out, Kristen's being wheeled out. Got like a blanket over and everything. She just looks at me and Katie dead in the eye and just gives us a big thumbs up and smiles. And out the door she went. And oh my God, I just forgot. I forgot how much Kristen makes me laugh at all times, no matter what's happening. No matter what's happening.
The reassuring thumbs up. It's going to be okay.
It's been a while since I've been around Kristen with this much regularity. I think since the first time we all went to BlizzCon.
True.
Because she skipped a few and then other ones.
But we shared at a place for one of them.
That was the first time we ever went to BlizzCon together. The four of us shared a hotel together, and that was like the most time I'd ever spent around Kristen. And then after that, we were all like newlyweds, and we were doing our own thing. We didn't spend as much time together.
Coast too, and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
Madness.
So
I get to ride into the ambulance, and Kristen's buckled in the back. And after that, like the professionalism just like disappeared. I mean, in the best way. Like these were down home firefighters, and they were chill. And they were sitting in the back being like, hey, don't give birth in our truck. We just cleaned it. And they're like high-fiving over the top of her and being like, when's the last time you were on a call like this? Must have been 4 years. How about you? Never done a call like this. You know, we don't get a lot of calls like this down here. Oh, yep.
So you got local chuckle fucks as
absolutely.
Your paramedics.
And
Hell
so,
yeah.
So we're driving out, and, you know, I'm hanging out with the driver, and he has to, like, slow down so they can do IVs because, you know, they won't put an IV when you're bouncing around, so, like, they have to bring it to a stop. He's like, and they're saying codes and stuff back, and a squirrel starts walking in the middle of the road, and he's like, oh, no, don't do it, squirrel. Don't do it. That's a bad omen. Don't do it. You get. And he's just like yell, and he's like starting to roll down the window, like yell at the squirrel because he doesn't want to run over a squirrel while like new life is coming in the back. He doesn't want that on his karma sheet.
Well, I mean, you give one, you take one.
Yeah. So he's so the squirrel moves out of the way, and he's like, we
take
did
a
it.
life, leave a life. It's like the pennies at a 7-Eleven.
Yeah. So you know, and he's like telling me about his brother and like how bad the traffic is, and there's no traffic at all, and he's just cracking jokes the whole way. And so they're like handing me their card on the way. I like visit the little one. Hey, eldest one can ride the truck there. Hey, thank you so much. This was great. Like on their way out there.
That's fantastic.
They were fabulous.
Was Kristen though like, oh no, it's like my husband and his coworker all over again?
Well, I mean, she was not entirely present. Like she didn't even know I was in the ambulance at this point.
Okay.
She was full blown in the zone.
Yeah, because
I magically appeared at the hospital next to her in her mind,
just like teleported.
Yeah, and she was just like, "How did you get here?" And I'm like, "Don't worry about it." So you know, I'm rubbing the back. I've done this before, you know. So I'm rubbing
I do
her
need
back.
I do need to stop you for just a moment because I just want to confirm.
Okay,
squirrel is okay.
Squirrel lives.
Because I know there are people like me in chat that are like, I just needed to make sure.
Didn't hit the squirrel, so karma was good for the driver. It's all good. Right. You know, that's not on.
Squirrel made it, everybody.
Number 3's sheet. There's no deficits, so nothing like that. So anyway, so we get there. So but this time I'm texting you, you know, instead of like fully focused because you're like, hey, what is it okay if I put on YouTube? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I'm having to alert like every other adult who's involved in the situation, her parents, my parents, you know, all the grandparents that are coming by and going to be helping out or visiting.
2 hours into our babysitting adventure, Katie goes, just tell Kyle to text us the grandparents' phone numbers. Why is he the go-between right now?
I did do that.
None of us thought about it.
Yeah.
It took us hours to think about that.
Yeah.
Like everyone. No one had their head on straight.
So Kristen's convinced that if the paramedics had not shown up and not wanted delivered in the house, because you have to go there anyway, and it's one more person, right? It's the same reason we moved to Florida when we did, because then you have to move with an extra person.
It's messy, literally and figuratively.
And they don't want to, they don't want the firefighters to have to take care of a newborn. They would rather transport the mom in inconvenience to the hospital where they can be delivered by professionals of that sphere.
Yeah. I think it's more comfortable for literally everyone involved.
And the rest is history. Yeah. So we had a named system. There were 3 names available based on, because it's the last one, you know? So we had a couple names kind of lined up. There was, you know, combinations based on eye color, hair color, you know, if they looked grumpy or not, if we were going to do.
Yeah, if they had long hair, it was going to be Garrett. And
yeah,
I really appreciate you considering that.
It would have gotten awkward eventually, you know, when I'm like, Garrett, put that down. And you're like, whoa, dude.
Jesus, Kyle, don't talk to me like I'm one of your children.
Yeah, but, you know, we decided against that. But no, like, if he showed up looking real grumpy, we're going to go with, like, Duncan, you know? If, like, the first night was just, like, nothing.
Why is Duncan grumpy? I apologize. The views of Kyle and Kristen are not necessarily the views of Grinding Gear as a whole. I apologize to all Duncans out there.
No, not at
Kyle
all.
is just besmirching you as inherently grumpy.
Well, Duncan from Dragon Age 3 was a gruff man, the head of the Blight dudes, the Dark dudes. What were the ones that...
I don't know, man.
I can only think of Sin Eaters, and that my brain is just full of...
I can't help you.
Full of horrible things. Dunkin' Donuts, no. Grey Wardens. The Grey Wardens.
Grey Wardens.
The Grey Wardens,
I know
yes.
the Grey Wardens. Never mind.
Yeah.
Duncan, Idaho. No, Kyle doesn't like... Well, no, you do like...
No, I do like...
We're
We're big Duncan, Idaho fans.
Don't like the name. That's the dumbest name in the history of fiction.
It is ridiculous having all those fantasy names lined up against...
Well, that's the thing about Dune is, like, all the Atreides have really normie names.
Well, that goes places. Like,
Yeah.
Is it Duncan, Idaho, or is it the other guy? Everyone wants to have sex with one of them. I can't remember.
Paul?
It goes, you know, he wrote it on shrooms or something like that.
Oh, the guy who's Josh Brolin plays, and I guess it was Patrick Stewart in the David Lynch one.
So we had this whole name tier system, all lined up, but in the end we picked James. So James is now in this world. 8 pounds.
I was gonna ask if you're gonna announce the name.
Yeah, I do. For the most part, I refer to numbers or ages because for parents, that's just helpful. Like someone's like, "Hey, have you met so and so?" It's like, "What?" Just
It's also just much more visual.
yeah,
it's better
you
storytelling.
put it all into perspective immediately.
Yeah, I have already taken to calling this child Jimmy.
Yep.
And I almost every single time I've done it in a Tychus from StarCraft 2
Absolutely,
voice.
bring it.
Jimmy.
You know, well, I did get rank 1 with James Rayner, you know, back in the day. That was my first foray into Heroes of the Storm, so there's a nice little connection
I was
there.
like, you weren't a Terran player. What the hell are you talking
No,
about?
yeah,
Never
James
mind.
Rayner.
Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, but you also got, you know, James T. Kirk.
Jimmy.
Jimmy, Jimbo.
Jimbo. Yo, Jimbo.
So 16-month-old
Yep.
has started talking over the course of this 2 weeks. You know, I was present. Mom was very busy. There was some distress available there to kind of push the envelope because he's got amazing body language. My 16-month-old, because he'll like gesture at the fridge and be like, and you so like the fridge, and he's like, ooh, and then he'll point up and you're like, oh yeah, it's yogurt, isn't it? He's like, oh. But, you know, because I had to take on so much of the parental, this is the really first time I got to hang out since they were born, basically, with my 16-month-old was this break as well. Because I was doing all the bedtime. So he called him JJ the other day, and that was really cute. He goes, JJ.
That's adorable.
Yeah, so that's what 16-month-old
Now I'm going to call him J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, you could do that too. Yeah, so there's lots of availabilities.
Damn. Eventually, I'm just going to end on Tenzin because, you know, the voice actor.
Sure, you know, like whatever. Like it's a free, you know, let it flow.
Plus, he looks bald right now with his extremely adorable.
Well, he's already got like the old man mullet going because the back neck hair like just grows fast on newborns, so they get mullets.
He fell asleep on me on
fast.
Saturday, so I'm intimately familiar with just how soft baby hair is. It's like fuzz, man. It's cute.
So we had amazing delivery. I had to get a ride from the grandparents who showed up in order to come see you as they relieved you of duty because I had no car because I had ridden an ambulance. And the rest is history. Like, we had some awesome nurses.
Yeah.
They took really good care of us. There was a light panel on the wall. Like, I'm talking like, you know, groovy like light panel on the wall. So they're like, Dad, this is for you. And they pushed me over to it. And I was like, oh, and I got to like set the various lights. And I did I did retro wave, you know, pink and blue in there.
Oh, yes.
Got to set all that up.
Yeah, music? Do you get to put on like a little like...
There was no time for that.
No Carpenter Brute.
Yeah, I think there was about an hour of back rubbing and texting that I performed before it was all...
Birth was not given to Leather Teeth by
I am
Carpenter Brute.
okay with that. Number one was 48 hours of labor, and we went through the whole playlist. I'm okay with shorter births. That was fine by me.
I went from having never watched a VTuber in my life to have been exposed to 4 straight hours of Combo Panda.
Yeah.
At the request of one, your oldest, Flynn.
I mean, it is junk food, but it entertains.
It's solid content. Like
it does all right.
And at no point was I like, I don't know if this is like, I didn't see anything that was like not okay for kids.
Yeah, he does okay.
Other than being a little loud, you know.
It's bombastic, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, obbies are...
Yeah.
It makes sense. You know, obstacle courses, they're quite fun.
Yeah.
Kids like them.
Yeah, I just have, you know, just nothing against VTubers. I just haven't been... I grew up in a world of, like, liking creators that seem like real people. You never know. Like,
right.
They could be doing it.
There's a reason you and I use our real names in our broadcast.
Yeah, because that's what we were drawn to.
Yeah.
Is folks who were just kind of living out loud.
But outside of that, like, we've been content creating so long now, I don't watch a lot of content creators. So the ones I do watch are kind of matching my old.
My favorite ones are I'm now watching people like us in other spaces. I watch like best friends or groups of friends that are making content together, but not about video games. So yeah, that's what I have gravitated toward.
And then we got to go home, and you held the baby. And you came over and met little James.
Yeah, that's the youngest child I've been around since my brother was born.
Yeah, tiny.
Yeah, usually at least a few weeks before I've seen it. Even my nephew, I think, was 2 or 3 weeks old when I met him.
Now they're all chunked up and riding well.
I think I'm the right age, man. Like we haven't really talked about. I've always been like my whole life. I've been like, no kids, not into them, uninterested, don't want to have them, and now I'm like, damn, babies are cute. Like, Jesus, babies are cute. It's finally happened. I was talking to my buddy in LA. He calls it LA time because we have a shared friend who's now married. was talking to him, and I was like, "You guys gonna have kids?" He's like, "I don't know, maybe in a few years." He's like, "We're on LA time." I'm like, "What the hell is that?" He's like, "Oh, everyone has kids like 20 years later than most people." I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." So maybe I'm on LA time. Maybe we'll have kids. I don't know, but I like being around kids now.
Yeah, it's not something anybody wants to hear. Oh, you'll find them cute someday. But my parents said it. Everyone old around me said I was of the same, mental state. Like at 30, I was kind of like, oh, the kids are getting kind of. I think I might be okay with that.
Yeah. And to everyone yelling, Garrett caught baby fever, I will say I also think it's wonderful that I can check them out like a library book.
Yeah, visit them
right now. That is a nice feature of having friends again,
and we appreciate that. We do.
Like, okay. Yeah. No. We were a little like worried going in. Katie, I was worried going in. Katie. Someone like we kind of just like never talked to like early on. We were like, "I want kids." No. Okay. And that was kind of it. And then we just don't talk about kids. She like just knows how to handle kids, and it's always a surprise to me because we really never talk about it.
Yeah, well, I was impressed. Like Katie put down the 16-month-old to bed, like properly. That's a tough call. I'm doing that every night right now. That's
you got a 2-story place, so we were upstairs in your studio watching Combo Panda, because it was closer to like where all the toys were. And that's the only room I was familiar with.
That's fair, yeah.
Because that's the only place I really that or the kitchen. And I was like, well, I don't think I can entertain the kids in the kitchen. So I knew the toys were upstairs. So we like brought some toys in there, and I know the floor space, and I know how to work the computer. So I was like, okay, I was thinking, I'm gonna pull up YouTube and I'm gonna get something we can all enjoy. I was gonna put on like Gargoyles or something. And second I turned the computer on, Flynn was like, "Can we watch Combo Panda?"
Yeah, this is what.
And I was like, what? What is that?
My dad totally lets me watch like 24/7 Combo Panda.
In my head, I'm like, I tried to watch South Park as a kid too, kid. I'm like, what inappropriate thing is this? And that's why I bothered you with the text, because I wasn't sure. I was like, is this allowed? As I was like, I'll be the cool uncle, but within reason. I'm not gonna put on like Fifth Element.
No, like I mean, when we're getting like right down to it, like I love like Krat Brothers, the Wild Krats. They're awesome. They're still going. The Zaboomafoo guys still going.
Okay,
they make a great show.
Yeah, you had to inform me what that was.
Yeah,
I didn't grow up with that.
Yeah, but if you got to get out the entertainment candy sometimes, and just let it ride free.
Yeah. So anyway, like back to it, like So it was. I also have been on a journey with your 16-month-old, because the first time we went over after you had moved here. He took one look at me and started crying. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh no, little man, it's okay." And he's been pretty standoffish. And like within minutes of us, like of Katie and me watching your kids, like he was coming over to me, smiling, handing me toys. I got the only kind of violence of the night. He had like a dinosaur block, and he just really wanted to smack it on the monster truck that I was holding. And that was like it. He's having a good time, smiling, laughing. Ian and I are like buds now. It's really cool. I feel like we've had a breakthrough, and it makes me feel really good. It makes me feel very warm inside. So it was wild. Yeah, so we ended up like at one point moving downstairs because Katie and I hadn't eaten. We're like, oh my god, I'm starving suddenly. So we Uber Eats some stuff.
Nice.
And that was when Katie just out of nowhere, we're like playing Mario Kart with Flynn. Katie's like, I'm gonna take Ian up, see if I can put him in bed. And I was just like, oh, right, that's a thing you do with kids. At no point had it entered my brain that we should try.
Speaking of ordering, thank you so much for your gift. You gave us a Grubhub.
Oh, yeah.
And we used it for the first sushi night.
Oh.
Because Kristen couldn't have sushi for 10 months straight.
Oh, hell yeah.
So we got to do sushi.
Oh, no, I'm making good. Yeah. At first, I was just like, I don't know what to get them. I don't know what they need. They've had 2 kids. And then I was like, oh, food's going to be a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I'm just going to.
That was great. Thank you.
I'm going to give them money they're forced to use on food.
That's what I'm going to do. Thing.
That's what I'm going to do. Normally, I'm like, gift cards kind of a cop-out, but there are times in your life where it's really nice to be forced to use money on something.
Absolutely.
And I felt like that was one of them.
It was good sushi.
Felt like food is always a safe gift. Thank you, CF History. Yeah, I think so.